Oh God, we finished part two.
Oh, we did?
Yes.
I I didn't. Psych, I did.
Wait,
Did
you
I get
did?
you? Yeah. That was a
Oh,
classic
I thought I
classic
beat
trick I
you.
pulled on you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of sad, but well,
I beat you.
anyways,
Joe.
wow.
Yeah. What
That
did you
was
think?
that was something.
That
That
was
was
quite the thing.
that was the thing, yes. Um,
I did a thing. Haha, remember
I
that?
I was
Remember that,
very
Jim?
excited when that thing happened. Yep.
I did. Yeah. I enjoyed that thing.
Yeah, I know. We both
And
know
this
exactly what I'm talking about.
that time Joseph looked at Lisa naked and saw boobies.
Yeah, yeah. In hindsight, yeah. Anyways, so
Yeah, anyway.
um
Let's jump in, huh?
last time we kind of cut off right where like we discovered that Lisa had the red stone of Aja the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah. It was like,
It's
"Oh
crazy.
wow."
We cut off after the famous mustard scene.
The
I'll never
famous mustard scene.
I'll never forgive David Productions for cutting it. Never. Unforgivable.
I can't believe this. Are you
Hmm.
telling me that fucking like mongrel was not in the anime?
It even came back to my surprise. That was actually involved in the plot.
Yeah, he actually came back later. That was so weird.
Yeah, he killed cars.
Yes, yes, he
Yes,
killed cars. That's true.
Mr. Mustard.
Yeah. Um. So one thing I didn't really think of mentioning last time, I kind of like
What's that?
thought about it about like the training, the little
Hmm.
training arc that we went through. Um,
Hmm.
we kind of see like a little bit of the tail end here, but it was mostly in the last part. Um, I think it was like really cool. It's like this idea that like the master Lisa is like she's purposely like being mean and uh fostering resentment in her students, and Jojo and Caesar like she's
Not really
trying to.
Caesar. He's simping.
Well, I
He's
guess
simping hard
Caesar's
for her.
already kind of been through this, but like she's trying to get I guess get a rise out of Jojo.
She knows that by riling him up, he'll like really push his limits in order to get back at her.
Yeah, he she wants him to like she wants to take
She knows
his
from she
strong
knows from
drive and push it towards his growth.
she knows from experience that the Joe Star his temper. She knows from experience that using your temper will make you do crazy shit.
Yeah. She's just kind of funneling that towards their own
Hmm.
goals. It's pretty cool. This is the thing that I see in other series sometimes, like this kind of idea of like a tough like training master.
Yeah,
I s
that was mentioned in the Jojonium interviews when Araki was talking about Lisa. He talked about the contrast he wanted to make between her and Baron
Zeppeli?
Zeppeli in the
Yeah.
last part. Yeah, Baron Zeppeli was a very gentle and emotional mentor, while Lisa he describes as sort of like a sadistic mentor
Yeah.
who's
Pretty cool.
seemingly cold.
Part of the reason why I noticed this is because I've a similar thing happens in Fire Force, and I've been reading that.
Ah,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on that.
hmm.
Um,
Yeah, Red Stone of Asia, she has it, and Joseph asks the smart question. Let's just fucking break it right now. The pillar men are looking for it, and if they get it, that's bad. So why not just break it? And
yeah,
we
and
get
sh
a
yeah,
we get a an excuse really. There's a legend that this Super Aja would help defeat the Pillar Man, and it's kind of a cop out meant to just fill that plot hole, but at least it's followed up on, and that it actually kind of comes true in a way.
yeah, but she also says something about if it's destroyed, then the Pillarmen will become unbeatable or something like that.
I
I,
think that's yeah. I think that's connected to the whole legend thing she's talking about.
yeah, I guess I don't know. I just it's
And in a
kind of
way, it
weird we
kind of comes
never got
true.
anything on that ever again.
Yeah, the only real like this kind of legend thing only ever comes up in response to like why don't we just break it? But I can kind of look past it, seeing as how hormone users, as we saw in last part with Tom Petty, have some sort of like future sight they can do,
Yeah.
like how he looked into Baron Zeppelin's future.
Yeah, I suppose. Uh,
But it's really just kind of a way to fill that plot hole, you know.
I kind of see it as like it was literally just a legend. Like it probably didn't hold any truth, but it was just, made the legend kind of more interesting.
Mm,
Like legends pass on through the generations, they get embellished a little bit.
yeah.
Some things get emphasized and even if they're not accurate. But yeah, I mean,
Af- After
it's
that,
a bit of world building.
yeah,
It's pretty cool.
yeah, it's pretty neat. We definitely get to know a lot more about the Hamon masters of old and their lineage. This part, even if it's not like super a lot, you know.
More so than last part.
Yeah, and yeah, they go into after that little bit of a context in the manga. They're on a boat heading back to Air Saplina Island. In the anime, they're just doing it like they're on Air Saplina Island. And after that, they go into Joseph's and Caesar's final trials. They're going to fight it out with Loggins and Messina. And Caesar does get his fight with Messina, but Joseph, he finds Logs in the middle of being killed by ACDC. Oh no,
I think he was
they
already
found
dead.
them. Eh, yeah,
You know
probably.
the meme?
Huh? Oh yeah. You,
I'm just
yeah. They say the meme later, and you were like, "Is this where that's from?
yeah,
Is this where you are already dead is from?" Came at me with your sparkling, innocent little wonders of eyes,
I
and you said,
did.
"Is this where the meme comes from?"
It is not.
Yeah, it's not.
Uh,
So yeah,
I was sad.
Joseph's Joseph's final test is not against Loggins, but against ACDC, who's here to get the stone because he somehow learned it's here and that AC or Lisa has it.
What they twist?
Yeah, I don't know how he learned that.
Yeah, that was
He's
weird.
here. I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
but
Like they say, like they were like searching like all over Europe or whatever, and like he somehow found a clue that led him there.
I
What?
guess maybe he found that legend about Ripple users like needing the Super Aja and just realized like, oh, I'll go to where the Ripple Master is. But then how did he learn that Lisa lives here and that she's the Ripple Master with the Aja?
Mhm.
I asked I asked similar
Who knows?
questions later about certain stuff, but that yeah, the plot can be a little wonky at times, I guess, in the name
Yeah.
of moving things along. But who cares? We're about to take on Joseph versus ACDC. It's and the first thing I want to mention about is the arena they're fighting in. They're fighting on these like this little arena
Yeah,
of spikes.
that was really
Uh,
cool because it kind of like
yeah,
shows off like the fruits of their training because we saw them climbing the pillar where a lot part of it at least on Caesar's end was he had to learn how to expel Ripple from two different portions of his body at the same time,
hmm,
which that was a big part of the training. And now it's being shown off here, where they're uh,
yeah. He's got
Jojo
to
has to
keep his
yeah.
he's got to
He,
keep his ripple in both feet and also attack through his fists
yeah.
too.
He has to fight at the same he has to fight at the same time. In a way it's actually kind of like the walking on water from Naruto where it just
Hmm,
becomes second nature. They're expelling chakra from their feet like during the entire fight and everything. And like
yeah,
they don't even think about it. They're just literally running on water. And
yeah. It
it's the same
reminds me.
here.
Yeah, this arena reminds me of like classic martial arts films and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know what? You know what it actually reminds me of? You remember that Teen Titans episode where Robin goes off to like train and like climb a mountain and he fights like on this
No,
on top of a bunch of bamboo stakes?
I don't. I don't remember much of Teen Titans, to be honest.
Well, that is why you fail.
Yeah,
That
I
is
do
why you are
fail. It
cringe.
does a little bit remind me of Avatar, though, where they go
Oh
to
yeah.
the air temple and there's part of their training thing is there's these poles on the ground that they have to like jump between and stuff.
Yeah, like air ball, ender ball,
Something
air
like that. Yeah, yeah,
airbend.
yeah, yeah. They had like this weird game.
Yeah, and like Aang tries to play with Sokka and he just like gets beamed in the head with a ball.
Pretty cool.
Oh, that was fun. But yeah, that's the arena and it's they get into the fight and Joseph starts out with a pretty slick gambit and is able to use some string to take off ACDC's arm. It's a pretty slick move on his part, you know?
That was pretty cool. Like the in like this section that we've read, like there's a lot of like the tides of the battle turned very quickly.
Hmm.
I think it's just because of the nature of Joseph's like the way he fights in that he
Yeah,
uses strategy a lot and like
yeah.
a
He
lot of
often
deception.
he often backs himself into the corner only to reveal,
He
"No,
was
I'm not
playing
back in
you
the
like a
corner."
fiddle all along,
Pretty much, yeah.
basically.
And
Except when
that
he isn't.
yeah, and that first blow is when ACDC throws his very funny and very memeable tantrum. What was your reaction to seeing that?
I I was just like saying what the fuck out loud for like several minutes.
Yeah, he goes, "Hey!"
He
Yeah,
just starts bawling like a baby, and I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah, I, yeah. It's very funny, but like I also like the reasoning for it a lot. Joseph like he gets the upper hand most of the time. He even says as much. He gets the upper hand when he's able to piss off his opponent and get in their head. And ACDC, when he starts to like feel that frustration, he just cries it out.
That's just how he
And
deals with it.
pretty much, and it lets him come at Joseph with a clear head right after. It's he knows how Joseph plays because he too plays like that, and that lets him like know how to deal with it. And right then, the way to deal with it was just crying his eyes out.
Yeah, basically.
It also kind of reminds me of what he does later as a brain. Like he basically he doesn't really care much about like a warrior's pride. He's totally fine with just crying his eyes out in front of his opponent if it means his own goals will be fulfilled and he gets to win.
He's very similar to Cars in that way, and then that makes Wham kind of like the outlier.
Yeah, they're birds of a feather. ACDC was the only one of the Pillar Men to go with Cars, like who actually had a choice in the matter. So it makes sense that they're kind of similar in that regard.
Yeah, they were
He also,
comrades.
hmm, oh my God, they were comrades.
Yes, they were. Yep. They
You think they,
established communism,
you think they fucked?
probably.
Yeah, probably. Oh yeah, and he also revealed Joseph had just quoted Sun Tzu's The Art of War, and ACDC reveals that he actually knew the guy. So that really
Yeah.
kind of like sets up that quote really sets him up as someone who can like he can more than match wits with Jojo.
Did you
Yeah,
did
and
you
that
see that meme I made?
oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Uno one.
I'm I got to this part and I immediately made a meme. There it
That's
is.
so like you.
Yes.
I can't believe it. He's got that draw two, draw four. I forget. I'm not looking
It's
at it.
the reverse Uno card
Ah,
because
that's
he reversed. He's like, I actually know Sun
I
Tzu as
planned around your
well.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a and it definitely gets paid off the best when he actually steals Joseph catchphrase of your next line is.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You know what else I like a lot? Flame mode. It's gross, but I kind of love it.
Oh my God, when he fucking pulled up his fingernails and shot out the
The
blood, the
veins.
veins. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That like makes me want to like actually die.
Yeah.
I
I I don't like it, but I also love it.
just
And I like how it continues with the fact that these quote unquote elemental powers are just different ways of using their body that have been unlocked by the stone mask. Mamu just like makes wind by spinning his like arms and stuff and like his flicking his hair decorations. ACDC just boils his own blood. I like it.
yeah.
He's the burning king. I like it.
The thing I feel like they could all probably do basically the same thing. It's just that they're kind of proficient in this one thing.
Yeah, probably.
It's cool though.
Hmm.
Um, where the fuck are we right now?
I'm in my room and you're at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to learn how to swim then.
Yeah. You know what I like. From now on, Joseph mainly does like rope tricks and stuff with his
Yeah,
stratagems and his hormone, and I like
that's
that.
pretty cool.
I like that, and I like how it plays into what his stand will be in part three.
Now you've got me wondering.
Now I know.
Yeah.
And the way he uses them to beat ACDC is very cool. I like how he doesn't out he out strategizes him by using like very new strategies. Joseph really is like a quote unquote modern day fighter using these sleight of hand tactics to get one over ACDC. It's a fairly quick fight compared to like the
It is, yeah.
eight or 8 or 9 chapters with Santana and then like 10 with Wham. This is only a 4 chapter brawl with ACDC, but it I think that works in its favor. The way it kind of goes pretty quickly. I mean,
It really sells just how how much Jojo has grown during this, training period.
mm,
Because before he struggled so much
Wham
against
and
Wham
Santana.
and Santana. Yeah, and now he's able to like pretty handily defeat AC/DC. And then later on with Caesar, we also see that, Caesar exceeded Wham's expectations
Mm,
by a lot.
yeah, yeah, it's all very very cool. And ACDC, he just up and dies, but not,
Yeah, he's not dead.
but
Wow.
not.
Oh my God. It's like
He's a
it's like he's immortal or something.
he's a brain in veins. Actually, before that, I wanted to mention that when ACDC is dying of hormone, he like shoots out these bright lights, and Joseph is like, what is this light escaping from him? Is this the life energy of a life that's been lived for 10,000 years?"
Yeah, that was
And
weird.
yeah, that was weird, and it never gets followed up on because well, there's 4 pillar men. Santana and Cars don't really die, but like when Wham
Wham all
dies,
yeah.
he doesn't like exude this light or anything.
Well,
He just kind of crumbles away.
he is younger, but still you would think there would be some kind of reaction if that was a thing.
Yeah,
I think it's most
the
likely
different
Jojo just didn't know what the fuck he was seeing
yeah,
and
or
just made
maybe
a
it's
weird
just that
assumption.
hmm, or maybe Iraqi just kind of forgot about it.
That's true, but yeah.
Yeah, what whatever. But yeah, we go into the next segment, which is versus ACDC's Brain and Veins,
Yeah,
and
when Jojo is like, I'm gonna look at Lisa naked
yeah,
because that's what I do.
yeah, that's what I do. I peep on my own mom.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
No, why'd you do that?
Yeah,
You can't.
and he does the famous nice.
Oh
It's
my
very
God.
oh yeah. But before that, we meet a new character, Lisa's maid, Susie Q.
Yeah.
She's named after the song by Creedence Clearwater Revival. And she is. What do you think of her?
Um,
Tell me.
she seems,
Tell me now.
she actually seems kind of interesting. Like her personality, I feel like is a bit more colorful than we've seen from other female characters up to this point.
Yeah, she's not just like kind of like a bland sweetheart like Arena. Not that I don't like Arena, but she's more fun because she's kind of dumb, but like at the same time, as we see with her interaction with Joseph, she can kind of not match wits with him, but like she has a back and forth with him. She's
She
not just kind of reacting to his teasing; she teases him right back.
she kind of like gives me like the vibes of like like a stereotypical like
Tsundere?
1930s New York woman or
Ah, yeah,
something, or
like this kind
she
of sass.
she probably sounds like Harley Quinn,
I could
like
see it.
in like the accent. I don't know. I just feel like that's the case.
That kind of sass. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can kind of get where you're going from.
that too. I don't know. I just get that impression. I don't know how like if that's was intentional or not.
Uh, yeah, we meet her because, and it's a good thing that we meet her now because she's about to actually be important. She gets possessed by ACDC's brain, and she she mails the red stone off to where Cars is, and then goes to confront Joseph and Lisa, make sure that they don't chase the postal boat. You had a comment about this. I remember you commented about how Lisa seemed in this scene.
Yeah, like literally this entire time she's just kind of standing there like doing like just giving reaction shots. Like she doesn't
Mm,
do anything. And like even like later on in this part, like she just doesn't do anything
yeah,
unless
and
she
but
is forced to
yeah, there's a reason for that though, and
because she's a
it's kind of
woman.
what pretty much yeah. It Araki talked about it in interviews. Uh, Lisa yeah, in shonen manga of this era, like the late '80s, apparently the editors and the in the editors' minds, the viewers too, weren't ready for like a strong female character. They weren't ready for the action girl yet. So editors kind of made him put Lisa on the back burner to make sure she wouldn't overshadow Joseph and to a lesser extent Caesar too.
That like stands in pretty stark contrast to what Araki like seems to be trying to do later on with like the statements of Jojo like slowly coming to respect her and the same with Cars coming to respect her as like a fighter even though she
Yeah,
really doesn't do anything.
yeah, those seem like kind of lip service in Lisa's
Yeah.
favor. Like Araki wants to, he can't. He's being
He's
forced.
telling us that she's epic but not showing us.
Yeah, he's being forced to not show, so he has to rely on Joseph and
Yeah,
Cars saying like, "Oh, she's amazing," you know. And
basically.
that's I kind of feel for him in that regard. And that's actually kind of where, like, according to these Jojonium interviews, that's kind of where the idea of stands came from. He wanted to make it so that looks don't apply in fighting
Yeah.
skills. He can do it any sort of design. Doesn't have to be a big muscular dude to be strong. You know,
Yeah. I could see
that
that.
that kind of started with Lisa apparently.
Yeah. It kind of really disappoints me because I think honestly up to this point I think Lisa's probably my favorite character like in the entire series and
Oh yeah,
it's just really disappointing that she kind of gets the short end of the stick.
yeah, I agree. But what are you gonna do? I guess
Yeah.
at least we get part six with more badass
Yeah.
female
Yeah.
characters like Jolene. I love Jolene.
That's good. Yeah. From what I hear, she's great.
She's my favorite JoJo personally, a bit ahead of Johnny.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're reading part 2 right now.
yeah. We're not reading part six. We're reading part two.
Yeah, that's true. How could we forget?
Yeah, I didn't forget. I
Oh,
knew the whole
I
time.
did.
How dare you assume? I can't believe you. And also, go fuck yourself.
Uh, I'll much obliged. Okay. Uh,
uh, yeah. Oh yeah, I have a note about how they beat her. It's very, or how they beat him. They beat ACDC, and I like how they do it. Joseph and Caesar use what they learned on the oil pillar to kill him while also saving Suzuki.
teamwork.
It's teamwork.
Using ripples in different ways simultaneously.
And a part that really like kind of lacks teamwork at points. This is a nice thing to see, you know.
Yeah, I really feel like there's a pretty strong sense of camaraderie just between, Jojo and Caesar here.
Hmm.
Like even though they begin to things break down a little bit later on. But I don't know, they kind of have their back and forth, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like a real like it feels like more of a partnership than what Jonathan and Speedwagon have, where it felt more like hero and sidekick. You know,
Yeah. Like
it's nice.
they're strong like personalities and they're like constantly at odds. But like at the
Yeah,
end of the day they're they're friends, they come together
yeah.
for this one goal.
Like similar to what I said between Joseph and Suzuki. Caesar is able to match with Joseph. He's able to keep up with Joseph. He's not being like humiliated by him like other people tend to be, the random assholes, you know.
Yeah, it's
And
I definitely see this.
that kind of plays into what I have written here next, which is about how Joseph, most of his change comes about with fighting against or with other people, where he learns to like respect others. Because at the start of the part, he only really cares about himself, Speedwagon, and Granny Arena,
Yeah.
and everybody else can just kind of go fuck themselves. Smokey was the first like person to kind of break through that and befriend him. And now that he's like battling for the fate of the world and fighting alongside people like Stroheim and Caesar, he's learning to respect others, and that's starting now to extend to his adversaries too. He learns by fighting ACDC, he like knows about him more, and he grows to respect ACDC's tenacity.
Yeah. And if you think about it in like part 1 terms, at the start of part 2, Joseph is like Dio and at the end he's like Jonathan.
Hmm.
He grows to respect his companions.
Yeah, he learns this respect for his opponents that starts with ACDC and it continues on later in a much bigger way with Wham.
Yeah,
But for now,
yeah, it's like
yeah,
he continues to like start to respect his opponents and kind of take their ideologies upon himself.
hmm, yeah, and yeah. So that's the whole ACDC segment. Now we're moving on to burping.
Burping, yes.
We're moving on to chasing the red stone. The anime skips right to when they're leaving Italy in the car, but in the manga, there's a scene at the postal office where they're looking for the package with the red stone, and it's actually really funny. I kind of wish the anime had kept it because it actually made me laugh.
It is because they're
We
just getting so frustrated, but they're like
Yeah,
bound by like
the law.
normal conventions of like real life. Like
Yeah,
you
I
can't
forget.
just walk into a post office and demand someone else's package.
Yeah, Joseph keeps like freaking out, about to hit the guy, but then he like stops and is like, he raises his fist to punch, and then the next panel he's like scratching his head, like, oh, my hair's so dry. Like he's very like threatening the guy, but he's still kind of like trying to play it off, and
Yeah,
then he just kind of like, then him and Caesar both are like, fuck it, and they just start like
they're
tearing up the
literally about
place.
to fucking
Yeah, they're
kill all
about to
these
rip up
people.
the place.
Not really, but
Yeah, and then yeah, but then Messina comes in and he's like, stop, it's not here. We gotta go out. We gotta head out because Lisa used her uh, ripple hypnosis ability. Pull the information from Suzy Q's subconscious. Sure.
I I feel like
Okay.
we've seen this before, but I might be misremembering. I don't know. My
Maybe
memory is
it.
trash.
Maybe it's similar. I don't know. It it
Oh,
it feels like it's yeah.
wasn't there one thing where like it was like either Dio or like one of the Pillar Men like put their hand into someone's head and was able to get their memories or something? I don't remember.
I don't I don't remember
Oh
that.
yeah,
It kind
yeah.
of it's
Santana, he learned like he absorbed one of the people when he in Mexico, one of the Nazis, and like he learned things, I believe.
yeah, but that's Pillar Man stuff. This is Ripple.
Yeah, I just remembered something like that happening.
It feels like in line with some of the more mystical stuff we've seen out of Ripple, like the future sight, but like I don't know. We actually see it in practice in the anime because they cut out the postal office scene.
Hmm.
Here it's just Messina saying Lisa just did this, and now we know it's going to Switzerland. So they get ready to head out.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Lisa's like, one of us may need to give our lives for this mission. And Joseph's keeping it real, like, not it. I like that.
Yeah, so in I've noticed like, in part 1 they didn't really do a lot of like traveling around. Like a little bit like from like
Yeah,
uh
they only go a few places, and it's limited
yeah.
to
And then
England.
here
It's
in
the
part
Joestar
2,
Manor, London, and Midnight Slot, and the ship at the end.
yeah, basically. And then here they're doing a lot more of like worldwide traveling, and I
Yeah,
know in part 3 it's like more of like a real adventure across the world.
yeah,
And it
but
kind of just gets yeah.
there's a lot more globe trotting part two. They start out in New York, then they're in Mexico, then we go to Italy, and then Switzerland. They're bouncing around,
Yeah.
you know. It's
It's pretty
nice.
cool. A nice progression.
Yeah, and then it's a nice connection to like it sets up for part three, and it's like around the world in 80 days kind of plot where they're going from place to place trying to get to Egypt. But
Yeah.
for now, we're not dealing with Dio for now. Right now, we're dealing with cars, and he's got a new outfit, and it is, it has got drip, man. You know,
That
do,
yeah.
don't you love that coat, that hat? It's he is just he's swag. He's got swag for days, man. Not even gonna lie. Not even being sarcastic. Oh yeah, and
Man,
he also saved the dog.
that was fucking ridiculous. I don't even understand what happened, why it happened. What was
There's
the point of us even seeing that?
I think the point was like Cars doesn't respect humans. He just sees them as food, but other types of
Animals?
he likes other types of life. He saves this stray dog from a
I
drunk
guess.
drivers by showing off his brilliant bone blade and its capabilities real quick. And later, when he's gonna crash into a bunch of flowers, he like smashes the wall so he doesn't. I,
Oh, that's what that was.
yeah. So I
I
guess that's kind of. Were you confused by that?
yeah. Yeah. Okay, that
Fair,
makes sense. The
fair
part with the
enough. It's not a.
flowers, I just like ran like there were just these panels of him doing like backflips and shit, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's clearer in the anime.
Yeah.
I can see why you'd be confused by that because it's not really a plot point that's like followed up on or talked about much.
Well, I guess it makes sense because like later on he like gets the powers to like become animals and shit. But it's I don't
I,
know, it's just weird.
I guess that's true. He appreciates the different skills and like ways of life of other types of life. but he doesn't really care about humans because in his mind he's just a human but better. You
Yeah,
know?
he's just the next evolutionary step, I guess. And
Yeah,
like there
but
there
on
is a
the
huge time gap between, uh when he sees the flower and does that, but and when he actually gets the stone of Aja and everything.
hmm,
And like it's also kind of I feel like it stands in contrast to his his mindset of the only thing that matters is his goal, and he doesn't care about uh like fighting tactics, not fighting, like
he doesn't care about like warrior's pride or
he
nothing.
doesn't care about, like he just he gives me the impression that he kind of doesn't care about anything except for his goal.
Hmm.
But
I,
I guess that's not true.
I that my way of rationalizing it is that like he appreciates the other ways of the other lifestyles of other things besides humans, which he just considers below him. You know?
All right.
Yeah. Moving on. We're in Switzerland now, and the Nazis are back. Dang it.
Yeah, Nazis are a thing.
I, yeah, they're a thing again in this
We
part.
get and
We get a
Stroheim
full
is the Terminator.
we got a full page of recaps of things Nazis have historically actually done with like
For
photos of
some
Hit
reason.
photos of Hitler too. For some reason, yeah. Like why
I
remind
mean,
us?
it it made sense at the start of the part, just like giving us a refresh of what Nazis are, but
Set up the
like they've
time and place.
we're like halfway through the part. We've already
Yeah.
seen this.
Hmm.
Everyone knows what Nazis are at this point. We know
Hasn't been that long
Stroheim.
since we last saw some.
Yeah. What is the point of this?
I don't know. But maybe he had a page maybe Iraqi had a page to burn.
Maybe he just likes drawing Hitler.
Well, those were like photos or something.
Oh yeah, maybe it was like yeah. Yeah, that's I don't I don't know. I
Yeah,
can't rationalize this.
I can't rationalize a lot of what Iraqi does.
Yeah. What is up with that?
Yeah. Uh, I really like the scene of cars finding the house where they're staying, and like he's able to put his hands on the wall and just read the body heat of the room, and once he figures out exactly where everybody is and like even how tall everybody in the room is, he's able to just decapitate them all right away without even anybody realizing in the next room over. It's kind of amazing. And you know what else is amazing? Cyborg Stroheim.
Yeah,
That
he
is
is the
a
Terminator.
that is a it's pretty amazing. And it's pretty ridiculous, which kind of fits this part as a whole, especially the minigun.
It, I just yeah, that was great, I guess.
Mm. Yeah. Then it it very quickly becomes not that impressive too because Cars kind of in the span of like a chapter he just kind of cuts Stroheim in half with his chainsaw arm blade thing.
Well, it was pretty cool to see, Stroheim going from just being this regular soldier to now he's, he's incorporated the powers of Santana into himself.
Yeah,
And
that's pretty epic.
he does put up a fight, but again, it's only Santana, and Cars is, at the top. He's the pinnacle of the Pillar Men,
Yeah, pretty much.
even without the Redstone of Aja.
I do like the ultra ray eye beam thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, this whole scene is pretty exciting. I like when once Joseph's there, he's actually legitimately afraid of Cars, and he knows like he can't beat Cars straight up when he's got that arm blade thing, and like he notes that he's tenacious and is willing to do whatever it takes to win. So it's the fact that he's so like tense around cars is really building the tension of the scene.
Yeah.
Start running for the cliff to get the stone after it falls, and they start falling.
Yeah, this was pretty cool because
They're, they sure are doing a lot of talking and fighting mid free fall.
yeah, it
They're
reminds me of D&D.
5 seconds to impact my big ass.
Yeah, like I don't know. It was really cool. I liked when Jojo did the thing with the stalactites. He used
The
the ripple
icicles,
to
yeah.
connect them together and everything
And Caesar completes the link.
because of
It's pretty
course.
cool. Very nice, you Caesar-chan. It's pretty cool. Yeah, let me
One
keep
thing that
this up.
I find a little bit weird is like how how Araki keeps using like grip strength as like a pretty as like a common signifier of strength, throughout the series.
Hmm.
Like that specifically as opposed to any other measurement of strength.
That's really only a part two thing, but it actually
I think it
does
happened in part one also with when Dio first became a vampire.
maybe. Yeah, I don't think that actually happens again in part three. Although I think it does happen again in part six, but not in the way part two does it.
Yeah.
When as Jolene's figuring out her own stand and like how strong it is, she notes that its grip strength is strong enough to like bend a coin in half, but not enough to like break prison bars. But,
Interesting.
but yeah, yeah, they get away with the red stone, and they make it to where our Cars is hiding out, and they're trying to come up with a plan to of attack before Wham, who's apparently in Greece, returns, so they can try and kill one of the Pillar Men while he's alone. Caesar is Caesar wants
Impatient.
to jump right in. Yeah, he's pretty impatient, wants to do it while the sun's up, but Joseph says no. We should do it when it's nighttime, catch him off guard that way, because he's obviously going to be well protected during the day. They have this disagreement,
Yeah, and then
and
we finally see what Caesar's backstory is.
yeah. Well, the disagreement between them, I feel it once again shows how different they are, especially after they've spent a good amount of chapters being so buddy buddy. Caesar's in this for vengeance of his family, and because that's been established as it's important to them, it's a matter of pride of the Zeppeli bloodline, and that ends up clouding his judgment. Whereas
Why is
Joseph does
Joseph here?
to
Oh, I
kill the
guess.
Pillarman.
Oh no, he's here because because
He's got the ring.
he's got the ring, so he'll die. He's just trying to save himself, basically.
Well, he's in it to save the world, but he's like
His immediate
he's
goal is saving himself.
kinda, yeah. And he's trying to act smart about it, and he's not letting things like what happened with his grandfather cloud his judgment, unlike Caesar. And that leads to their little scuffle, and their final talk with each other ends up being a big fight, which is just adding to the big tragedy coming up.
Yeah.
And yeah, right after that, we learn about Caesar's past. What do you think of it?
Um, I I don't know. It just seems kind of like tacked on in a way. I don't know.
The,
Like
you know,
yeah.
you know what the problem is? And it's a problem that a lot of JoJo backstories happen. It's too close to his death. It feels like Araki's
Yeah,
trying to
it's like a
get
death
it out while
flag right in
he's trying to
front.
get it out while he still can, and it's something that continues. Even to the most recent part of Part Eight, it's something that continues on.
Yeah. You know
Characters,
when you randomly like out of nowhere get a character's backstory even though they've been around for so long that they're just about to die.
yeah, that happens in a lot of parts. I
Yeah.
think the only part that really kind of like averts it, I'd say, is part 5 because other parts have backstories that don't come along with backstory, but all parts tend to do that too, where they have the backstory right before the death. Part 3 especially, I think. But part 5, I think, averts it the most because they give everybody in the main group backstory like kind of as soon as they can, and they don't really come alongside the death, you know.
All right, that's cool.
But but yeah, Caesar's backstory, it's interesting, but it feels kind of like Araki's kind of rushing to get it out while he's like before it's too late to do it, you know. And that also feels a bit I don't know, coincidental. Do you feel that? Do you,
Um, yeah, I mean, he just randomly sees his father again out of nowhere.
and it's right when like his father's I don't know,
Like, it's such a
trying to
coincidence that Caesar is in Rome at all, and then it happens to be at the same time that his father's there to research the Pillarmen.
yeah,
And I don't know. It's just in general, it's just weirdly coincidental.
yeah, not as much as Lisa Lisa's, which we'll get to, but yeah, it feels just a tad coincidental to me. And uh what else? Oh yeah, the it actually reminds me of his relationship with his father, the way like his father distances himself from Caesar and the other kids because he wants to like protect them from the dangers of the world that he's thrown himself into. It reminds me a lot of Jotaro and Jolene's relationship in part 6, and it makes me wonder like I wonder if Araki was thinking similar when he wrote part 6.
Possibly.
Possibly. Back to part 2. Uh, my next note is just says the fucking cat stance narration.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. I mean,
He's just gonna fight Ghost Wham.
yeah, so you said something about oh no. So I had this thing about where is it? Where is it? You know,
You
it
talked about how like it's a sign of how well trained Caesar is.
yeah, um so Caesar just kind of like naturally takes this stance because he senses, you know, that something's amiss. So he takes the best stance he could possibly think of that, you know, is good in this situation for like being able to respond to any threat. And he
Mhm.
just naturally assumes this cat stance, which is apparently like this legendary stance from like Chinese martial arts or something that is apparently the most suited to this situation, and he doesn't even know it. It just kind of
Yeah,
shows that he's like a prodigy.
right. I guess that
He doesn't even have to know this stance in order to like formally know it in order to assume it.
that makes sense, and I would agree that's probably what Araki intended. But like in my mind,
Yeah.
it's just a whole paragraph trying to give a an excuse to why Caesar took this famous martial arts stance that he doesn't even know. Like
Yeah.
like you
It's
don't need
funny.
it. You didn't need that, Araki. And if it's such a big deal to you that you need to explain it, maybe just I don't know, put him in a different stance. That
It's so good.
I don't, yeah, I don't
It's
know.
just typical
It's just
JoJo.
pretty much yeah. You know, that's also typical JoJo. I forget where they do it in part 2, but it especially happens in part 3. Araki does a lot of like in the dialogue, a lot of weird metaphors. Have you noticed that? Like
Yeah, just
character
in general.
there's a lot of weird comparison. Like in part 3, I remember the start of the final arc of part 3, they do like 4 in a row. I feel like it happens here too.
It definitely does. I can't think of any examples.
I don't know. I'll have to write them down next time. But yeah, the fight, uh, Caesar versus Wham, and the fight. It's pretty cool right off the bat because we get to see a way cooler, improved use of Caesar's soap bubbles with the
with the
It's it,
ripple blade.
it's a yeah, it's a direct callback to Baron Zeppelin's Hamon cutter with the soap cutter.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is. It is pretty.
It
Didn't I
it
tell you?
looks really nice too in this colored
Mm,
version. I don't know.
didn't I tell you his soup powers get cooler later?
You did actually.
Yeah,
And
is
here
that?
they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, and he even like once they're inside and out of the sun, uh, Caesar's just kind of going to town on Wham, and eventually, like, he gets them in a very Joseph-esque trap. He's able to use the soap bubbles as lenses to make rays of sunlight blast onto Wham. It's a very cool stratagem from Caesar.
It's pretty cool. It kind of shows that JoJo's kind of rubbed off on him. Oh God, I didn't mean it like that.
Joseph rubbed off on him, and Caesar used the soap to rub off on him too.
Oh God, what have I done?
You've joined us. They've definitely fought.
The JoJo memes are with us.
Nice. Yeah, and it almost kills Wham, but then Caesar gets a bit too hasty to kill him, and lets him Wham hit him directly with the divine sandstorm, and that's where things just go bad for Caesar. You know?
Yeah, he kind of gets like a one shot
Yeah,
because nobody can stand up to the divine sandstorm. It's like a one shot kill
pretty much. Yeah.
unless
Uh,
you manage to avoid it. But if you get
yeah.
hit head on, then you're fucked.
Yeah. I Caesar comes very close to killing Wham, and Wham says that like if it was Cars he was fighting, he probably would have done even better. And like
Because it's like a type matchup kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. And it's nice to see that, it's nice to hear that. But at the same time, just like with Lisa, it also feels like lip service to cushion the fact that Caesar has now lost twice to him and is now gonna die. And that kind of both of
Yeah,
those both of those kind of go hand in hand with one of my main I, I wouldn't say complaints, but like one of the main things that keeps me from liking part
contrivance.
two as much as it now it's one of my main things that keeps me from liking part two as much as others, and that's Joseph just ends up beating everyone, which makes Caesar and Lisa feel kind of underutilized, you know?
Yeah, it's weird because earlier on in the part we kind of get this when we first meet Caesar, Caesar's like so much further above Jojo, but like just immediately without even any training, Jojo just surpasses him. Like
Mm,
when they first initially encounter the Pillar Men.
right.
And then since then, Jojo's just been stronger than Caesar the whole time, and Caesar hasn't really done anything.
Yeah.
It's
And yeah, it's it's Joseph's story. It's meant to set him up really more so, but like yeah, you could have done more with someone like Caesar, you know? It really makes their supposed partnership and their supposed equalness feel disingenuous when
yeah.
all four of the Pillar Man plus Straight Zo were beaten pretty much solely by Joseph.
Yeah, like it's weird because they're trying to, we're being trying to be sold on this idea of, uh, you know, Caesar and JoJo kind of being partners and equals, and like it's less of that he's his subordinate or he's a side character. He's like a main character. He's
Yeah,
just as he's almost as important to the story in this part as JoJo is, but he just uh it all goes to JoJo.
pretty
Caesar
much.
doesn't
Yeah,
get anything.
yeah.
I guess that's
At least
why it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
yeah, and not JoJo and also Caesar's bizarre adventures of the
JoJo and
two of them.
Co.
Yeah. Oh well. I guess what are you gonna do?
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, even if he's even if he does die, this is a great death scene. The final ripple and the crimson bubble, they're great send offs. They're
It
iconic among the fandom.
Yeah,
It's
it
all
really
really great
calls back
stuff.
to when Zeppeli died back in part one. He
Yeah,
passed this ripple
it's
on to Jonathan.
yeah, it's like a direct like Caesar really calls out like it's a direct
Yeah,
thing, and he like makes his speech about how he's passing on his human spirit in the way of his father and grandfather had in the past, you know?
yeah.
It's but at the same time, his I would I wouldn't even call it like a sacrifice. He just dies, but it's hampered by the fact that Joseph wasn't really in danger of dying yet by the ring. So Caesar, like the only thing that comes from this fight that's positive is that they get the ring, but it Joseph's not in danger of dying from it yet, and he won't be since the part ends the next day. Um, like all the fighting finishes in the next 24 hours,
I think
and
it's
and he
like
doesn't he
meant.
doesn't even take the antidote until after he beats Wham and could have gotten it for himself.
I think maybe we were trying to be, trying to what's it called? Doubt Jojo, I guess, and see if he would actually run. Take the antidote and run, and just leave everything for someone else's problem, or if he would actually, inherit Caesar's, spirit here and
I
continue to
guess.
fight.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. And that is kind of like I'll talk about it more later, but he does like from this all he kind of like learns his lesson about fighting for others beyond himself and Speedwagon and Arena.
Yeah. Like I said, he's kind of evolving into Jonathan.
Yeah, he's becoming the man that like he could be as a Joe Star.
Yeah.
That's a big thing among the other JoJos is that they all have this inherited will from Jonathan, this inherited heroism.
Yeah,
And
because
yeah,
like if you think about it, just before this part, we had, Caesar was all hung up on, his family's legacy, and Jojo wasn't. He cared more about just making it out alive and
mm,
doing what has to be done. And we kind of
mm,
see that shift a little bit.
mm, yeah,
Once he really learns about Caesar's backstory, then he starts to, see it in a different light.
yeah. That plays directly into the final battle. Oh yeah, and I have one more thing about Caesar's death scene. It's very sad. The way Joseph and Lisa just like
Yeah,
break down,
that was
especially especially Lisa trying to keep up her toughness, but like she puts in her cigarette backwards, and when Joseph points it out, that's when she finally starts to crack over it.
well. That's not. It's because they see the blood. That's what
Yeah,
happens. But yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that was very sad,
it was.
especially in the
Um,
anime with the music.
I bet.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of glad I didn't watch that then.
Oh well.
Um, yeah. So, then they
They're
hold on.
moving on into the hotel, chasing after Wham to see if they can kill him while he's
Yeah,
injured.
and we finally see another vampire after fucking forever.
Yeah, Wired
Cause
Beck, the most interesting character ever,
what the
obviously.
fuck? Here we get to see Lisa do
A
not
thing.
nothing, I
Yeah,
guess.
she fights with a scarf, and that's very. I like it. It's a cool idea, and it's very
It is cool.
stylish. I wish we saw more of it.
Well, it's kind of similar to the scarf that Strizo had
Yeah,
at the start.
yeah.
Where
When
he
she
had.
fight,
I think it's made
when
of the same
she,
material too.
yeah, it is. She says what it's made of when in the fight with cars, and it's the same thing his is made of, which makes sense because he raised her and he passed on the title of Ripple Master to her.
Pretty cool
It's
callback
neat,
there.
yeah. And then they move on, and there's more vampires. There's 100 of them. Whoa,
100 vampires, you say?
yes. How are they gonna get out of the
Yeah,
swamp?
remember last time I was talking about how it was kind of interesting that now there's so many stone masks that, vampires can
They can
now
make
start to
more.
come in as like henchmen
Yeah,
instead of being
and
the main threat. Now they're just measly little foot soldiers.
pretty much, yeah. Now there are a bunch of vampire henchmen. I like how Joseph tries to set up like a string trick like he usually does, but he's so obvious about it this time that literally all the henchmen notice and like look at the string, and then he's just like, ah, fuck it, you saw.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah,
I was like, is this all part of his plan? And nope, not
yeah.
really.
You just kind of fucked up that version.
uh,
Uh, yeah,
that's
but they get
always
out of
it's
this.
always good.
Yeah, and they get out of it by Lisa bluffing their way out by saying like, "Oh, if we're not back by a certain time, a time bomb's going to blow up the Super Asia." And it's nice to see that Joseph got his trickery from her. I like that. So they set up a different type of confrontation. Wham's going to fight Joseph one on one, and Lisa will fight Cars one on one. I do
Pretty
it.
cool.
They're
And
gonna do it at it's a fake place, the Skeleton Heel Circle Stone, and it's very obviously just a stand-in for the Roman Colosseum. You know,
yeah, I'm pretty sure this place doesn't exist,
it
but
doesn't.
it's pretty
Checked.
cool.
It's pretty cool. But like I wanted to talk about how it's like it's so obviously it's a very obviously it's just a stand-in for the Roman Colosseum because it's got the track to race chariots and the history of the warriors shedding blood and stuff. And because Joseph and Wham were going to duel in the Roman Colosseum, that's where it was set up, and that's like I can tell it's pretty obvious that it wasn't some kind of like red herring, like oh, it's not actually going to take place there because this place is so similar, and what they do fits the Roman Colosseum so much. It makes me wonder when Iraqi changed the location of where those two would duel because like and I wonder why he changed it. Like, oh, did he change it because he wanted them to go to Switzerland and thought like, oh, they can't make it back to Italy in time?
I
You
think
know
it
what I'm
was
saying?
just kind of he just wanted to subvert it. Like I don't think he
I
ever
don't,
actually intended for them to, fight in a month, at the Roman
I,
Colosseum and everything.
I don't know. The fact that it's like a ancient chariot race and stuff, on like in this place that's like filled with the history of warriors and stuff, it makes it feel like he had pictured the Colosseum for this final battle, and along the way he had to
Yeah.
compromise and change it to a different location.
I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah, if I ever got a chance to ask him any question, maybe I'd ask him that.
Really? That would
Nah, I did.
I was like, that doesn't sound like the most important question.
You're right. I'd ask him what kind of toothpaste do you use, and
Uh,
then he'd say I just use Tears of Innocent Children, and then I would
yeah.
say, oh, that makes sense.
I'd ask, what
Thank
is
you for
your
telling me.
preferred brand of lube?
Yes, and he'd say edible. I drink it daily.
There we go.
Thank you, Iraqi. Thank you, Iraqi-san. I will take this information and do nothing with it because you've traumatized me. Thank you.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, right before this part, we we get we learn that Lisa was actually the baby that was saved at the end of part 1.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she's actually 50.
yeah. And
What the fuck?
if you're a smart little reader, you'll remember that it was stated in the first chapter that that baby that Erina saved grew up to become Joseph's mother. So
Oh, was it?
yeah, first chapter, Smokey's like, I later learned that his parents are both dead, but yeah, yeah, I don't
I,
know. Maybe
I, I don't remember this, but okay.
I could have sworn. Hold on, now I want to check because I don't want to be spouting lies. I could have sworn it was stated that um yeah, his his mother like was the baby that Erina saved in chapter 1. Am I stupid?
Maybe I just didn't. Maybe it did happen, and I just don't remember because you told me about this before part 1,
Hmm.
so part 2, so I already knew it in
Yeah,
my head.
perhaps. Yeah,
I
I don't know.
already
I'm
had
gonna
that
go back.
information, so it didn't like really strike me when I saw it.
I'll strike. Um, uh, yeah, and before we get to the Coliseum, this is what I was talking about earlier. On his walk back from the hotel to go get the red stone, Joseph he kind of completes his character arc here, or he at least comes to a major turning point, stating that Speedwagon and Arena were all he had earlier, but now he was realized he wants to fight for others. You know, it's nice to get that right before the big battles go down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was I just found it. It was chapter 3, not chapter 1. When they're going to the restaurant with Smokey, it says like Smokey's saying he learned later that Arena lost her husband, Jonathan, at sea, and then like the baby she saved and the baby she was pregnant with later married and gave birth to Jojo. So
Okay.
you
So
eagle-eyed viewers may remember that and be clued into the reveal earlier.
that's that's pretty cool. I like when stuff like that happens. Okay,
With the
so now
stone,
now we're at the part where they go to the circle place, which is the
yes,
Sol Coliseum kind of
yeah, the Coliseum
chariot
stand-in.
race.
Yes,
Yeah.
I used to
Um
think
yeah.
Joseph was just an idiot for not realizing Lisa was his mom based on her saying that she was the baby, but he may actually not know about that parents. I realized
Yeah, he probably doesn't know about that.
we learned that factoid from Smokey, who may have been told by Erina when they hung out while Joseph was off on adventures and stuff.
Well, we later learned that he was told by Arena specifically.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
He was told by Arena, and then she just told him that and wouldn't elaborate, and so he asked Speedwagon, and Speedwagon told him.
Right. Uh, yeah, we move on to the race, and it really is an amazing fight in action and in strategy. I never really think about
It's
the
really cool.
I never really think about the part 2 and part 1 fights when I'm thinking about my favorite JoJo fights, but this really is one of the highlights of the non-stand using parts.
Yeah, it's cool.
I have a bunch of notes about it. It's almost like a play-by-play. I love the opening, Joseph's opening gambit of using the
The-
rubble to trip up Wham.
That was cool. That was like one of my favorite parts. It's really cool.
You like that?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Why is this happening? Because
Yeah.
just I
Why
don't
is he
even know what I'm
wasting
saying.
time on? Why is he wasting time on this?
No, I knew I was like I knew this was gonna like I predicted this would happen. Like I saw there was a lot of fucking rubble under Wham's cart. I didn't think JoJo actually fucking
Noticed?
I no JoJo didn't. It's not that he noticed it. He specifically threw rubble under his cart.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
pretty great.
I didn't think that would happen. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So Joseph gets off on a head start and is able to grab the hammer, but it slips. But he catches it on the antidote ring that he had put on his pinky.
It was Caesar saving him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Pretty
and
cool.
in actuality, that probably should have just ripped off his finger. But
Yeah, probably because he's literally going 60 kilometers an hour, and it was a big fucking hammer.
put on his pinky finger.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. It
yeah.
feels like it's just kind of like that's Iraqi getting the rings use in the fight out of the way soon, and a problem that really didn't need to like exist. Like he could if he
He
didn't
could have just
if he
caught it.
wasn't yeah if he wasn't wearing the ring on his finger, Iraqi could have just had him hold on to it normally.
Yeah, probably.
But whatever. This fight is so good that let that slide.
Yeah, I guess we have to, don't we?
Yeah, and then Wham one ups him by taking the pillar itself as a weapon, and that's pretty amazing.
Because get it? Because he's a pillarman.
Ah, ah, ah,
Aha! He grabs the
ah.
pillar.
And he's a man.
He is a man, yeah.
And yeah, he smashes Jojo's chariot with it. And yeah, Joseph looks like he's gonna be crushed under the vampire horse hooves of Wham, but he used the hammer to launch himself up by smashing it on the horse harnesses. He's gonna attack Wham with it, but Wham's gone. Where'd he go? He's hiding in a horse.
It that in the horse that was fucking crazy. It was like back in
Part one,
part
yeah.
one, yeah, where Jack the
Jack the
Ripper
Ripper.
he's
Yeah,
hiding inside of the fucking horse.
that's a very fun callback. I like that.
Yeah, except it's completely different this time. Now he's just melding into the horse, whereas Jack the Ripper was like literally just inside of the horse somehow. It was weird.
I don't know. It was pretty cool.
No, like he just like dove into the open flesh wound in the horse's neck.
Yeah. Maybe Wham crawled up its ass and then he was like coming out through the skin.
Probably.
Anal invasion. That's Wham's most famous move.
If Wham lived, that would be his stand.
Yes. Uh, yeah, that leads into the third and final use of the divine sandstorm, and I'm glad that this move doesn't get it all downgraded in this part. All three times it's used, it hurts the victims pretty badly, and the one time that it's actually a direct hit, which is on Caesar, it's a fatal blow. And Joseph doesn't just kind of like he doesn't take it. He doesn't tank the hit. He
He
gets
knows he
around
can't.
it. He gets around it in his own Joseph way because he knows it would be fatal directly. And the fact that it's a move that's been so built up just makes the fact that he's able to get around it and turn the tides extra satisfying.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so we actually see another instance of Jojo using the ropes to his advantage. Um
Yeah.
this time in the form of the reins. He uses the
After he
ring.
loses his boot and he's able to grab the reins with his toe.
He grabs it with his toes, his toesies.
Oh, cringe. Feet, cringe. I can't believe Joseph's being so cringy right now.
Well, he has to.
That's that's true.
He
Joseph
is a JoJo character.
will be as cringe as it needs to be to win. That's Joseph's whole character.
Yeah, and so we kind of see Wham has been fucking like
Shooketh.
he's been very shook, much in the way that AC/DC was earlier, actually.
Hmm.
Where he had to cry in order to kind of get past his shookedness, I suppose. And
Yes.
in a similar vein, Wham just fucking gouges his eyes out.
Yep.
because I guess apparently
Rocky
not being able to see the thing that is fucking with your mind makes you no longer fucked with.
is it's Rocky talks about it in the narration. It's like an athlete doing stuff to psych himself up. Wham's gonna do this so that he doesn't have to rely on his eyes and can just feel the wind instead.
The wind is his secret technique, after all.
Yes. Uh, yeah, and from there we move on to the crossbow section, and it was kind of feeling like Jojo was getting off a little easy, so having him take an iron ball to the side really kind of cranks up the tension,
It's
you know?
I'm kind of amazed that he fucking survived that. Even if like it the power was severely reduced, like still, that's fucking
That's true.
crazy.
That's
I
true,
can't
yeah.
imagine taking a shot like that.
Yeah.
And
I'm
also,
I, I'm
yeah,
amazed he didn't like break his spine on it.
yeah, that's fucking crazy. And that he continues to fight afterwards. Holy shit.
Mm. Yeah,
But
he's able to shoot his own crossbow, and he buys time by pretending to be cowardly. And by the time Wham is like in place and is about to kill him for being cowardly, his own crossbow shot banks off the same place. And since his is bigger and more powerful, the shot's able to rip right through Wham with its ripple infusion.
I like the whole thing where they were given two crossbows, a large one and a small one. And of course Jojo would pick the fucking big one to take a stronger shot, and then
Yeah,
obviously it kind of bites him in the back where he can't load it because it's
yeah,
so big and like the string is so tight that he physically can't pull it back.
yeah. Even Wham like visibly struggles pulling back the
The small
string
one,
on the
yeah.
smaller one. Yeah,
And he's Wham.
yeah. He's he's whamming and bamming.
But then, when it actually works out, he manages to pull it back and use his strategy in order to, hit Wham, and that's kind of like uh that that's kind of like the deciding blow. It's not the final blow, but it's like the deciding blow
Yeah,
for the fight.
it moves us into the
Yeah.
final section.
And we get this little this panel that's like uh hold on, what does the panel say? I want to get this exactly.
This final mode is a different name in this translation. I forgot what it's called, but the official version is called Atmospheric Rift.
Atmospheric rift?
Yes, that's what his final modo is called.
Hmm. I can't find this.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a panel that says something along the lines of uh pretentious, being
Oh yeah,
pretentious is okay if you can overcome it or
I think
something
that's
like that.
chapter 58.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to find the specific panel.
Yeah, because the vampires that are gave out the crossbows were calling them pretentious
Oh, here we go.
for taking the bigger
Yeah, yeah,
crossbow.
I just found it. So it's this panel of Lisa saying, like Jojo, people who can handle any situation have the right to be pretentious.
Hmm.
It's kind of, going back to earlier when Wham said, not Wham, it was Cars that
ACDC?
no, it was
Oh,
Cars
cars.
that said, you know, uh uh Jojo's being pretentious, because he's taking the larger crossbow, and it kind of bites him in the ass. But in the end, it's really what it works out for him anyways, because he's the kind of person who can handle any situation
Hmm. Yeah,
because
it's
he's
very cool.
Jojo.
Yes,
And yeah, that
and
I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah. Now we move on to the final section. It's a great finale. Wham's going to use his final mode, Atmospheric Rift, to rip apart JoJo. It's a very scary looking technique. It literally just rips up the stone in a straight line towards his head while he's being pinned down by Wham's arms, which he had fired through the hole in his chest like a cannon, apparently. Um,
That was pretty cool. It's actually kind of cool that we kind of see a similar thing later.
hmm.
But
Yeah, Joseph gets the idea to use like a sort of like a Molotov cocktail. It's like an oil bomb thing, and Wham just cuts it in half and ruins the plan. But it turns out that was Joseph's plan because as the oil from the shattered container turns to vapor and is sucked into Wamu's pipes. Joseph lights Caesar's bandana on fire and tosses it. And that lights the oil vapor inside of
yeah,
Wham, and he blows up. It's very cool.
I kind of
And it
see this
goes,
this part as like a bit of a callback to part one. When Jonathan, died, when Dio killed Jonathan at the end. The reason why Jonathan lost was because, he lost his ability to, breathe and, conduct hormone.
hmm,
And so, because he
Joe,
relied so strongly on hormone, he wasn't able to overcome that and he lost to Dio. But here
hmm,
with Joseph, he doesn't solely rely on hormone. He uses his brain. He has, he uses tactics to fight.
yeah, he's able
And
to
so
overcome
he's
stuff
he's
that
able to overcome
Jonathan
it.
probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, even without hormone, he's still able to defeat Wham here.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
I agree. And I like how he says that you lost because I was fighting alongside Caesar. It's very nice. It's a very sweet little final mention of Caesar because he doesn't get mentioned for the rest of the
Yeah.
part.
They don't even mention
At
at
end
the
crawl,
end. Yeah,
yeah.
at the end crawler.
What a paragraph you would have had. Caesar stayed dead.
No,
That's
no,
that's all
not
you would have
not the
gotten.
end crawl. There was like a part where Jojo is remembering all the people that he is that he fought alongside. He
Oh,
even
you mean
remembered
when he's
Stroheim
falling?
and everything. Yeah, and he just
I guess
doesn't mention
I guess
Caesar at all.
I guess he's just like mentioning people that are still alive that he's gonna be leaving behind because he thinks he's about to die.
Mm.
Uh,
Maybe
yeah, and
I don't remember exactly what I'm thinking of, but it's something.
uh, well, it leads into a death scene for Wham. It's a very nice death scene of Joseph one final time finding respect for his opponent. The narration talking about the bizarre near friendship that Joseph and Wham had, even though he killed Caesar. Joseph uses his own blood to ease the burning wounds of Wham as he dies through because of his respect for him. Somehow bleeding through his glove. I don't know how.
Um, because he can do that. He can use hormone to create ripples that go
Or,
through the glove. That's it.
I
Yep,
see.
definitely.
Yes,
It's hormone.
it's a very nice death scene. Wham killing some vampires is just ahead was a bit silly and also feels a bit
Yeah,
unnecessary.
that was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, kinda. But it doesn't really like it doesn't ruin it. It's just a thing, you know. Oh well.
Yeah. And
Wham
so
dies.
now that Jojo and Wham's fight is over, the
We're
next
moving on
fight,
to cars.
yeah, Cars versus Lisa Lisa, the best fight in the
Cars
series, of course.
cars cars who looks way cooler with hair.
Cars does look way cooler with hair. What is up with that?
I guess it was a cool reveal,
I
you know.
guess he reminds me a lot of Straits
Oh
or
yeah.
Strizo or whatever. Who cares?
Sa- yeah, who cares? Uh yeah, like we said earlier, Lisa gets taken out pretty quickly because I guess Japan just wasn't ready for somebody that cool. But
Yeah, seems like.
we get a lot of talk about how she's actually really cool and stuff. But like, it just feels kind of like lip service to soften the blow of Joseph needing to take over for her. You know,
Yeah, basically.
at the very least, she's taking it. She's been out in an underhanded way and wasn't just just too weak to handle it.
Yeah, we
She
never
got
got to see her full potential. So
pretty
it's
much, yeah,
not like she's just like weak sauce. She just
yeah. She
you
just got
know,
screwed out of it.
she got screwed out of it, and we have to
Mm.
see what Jojo can do.
Also, her one named technique of snake muffler is very cool.
Yeah, that what the fuck? Snake muffler.
Yeah,
How strange.
it's a cool technique. I wish we saw more of her, but okay. But yeah, Joseph sees Kara's killing Lisa, and he gets pissed off, and he's gonna run in, but he's too weakened from his fight with Wham to make it through the zombie hordes, and that's when, bum bum bum, it's the Nazis. Hooray!
The Nazis are here. We
Hooray!
get like an Avengers like Endgame kind of moment where just they get saved because the
Yeah,
Nazis show up apparently, and
and
then
also the
Speedwagon shows
Speedwagons
up. Yep,
with Smokey.
with Smokey. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
Here's
Smokey,
a
watch
meme.
out! There's Nazis.
Yeah, it's like it's just like the fucking Nazis appear and they're the cavalry. They get saved by Nazis.
Yeah,
What is what is up with this shit?
yeah. Stroheim, I can see being all right with Smokey being there since they've shown that he's just more like extremely patriotic than like buying into Nazi ideology, as if that makes him okay.
I didn't even
But
consider that.
wow, it's sure lucky that none of these German soldiers are like not okay with Smokey here too.
Yeah. Well, then again, if you think about it, you know, the Pillar Men are like Mexican or something. So,
Like Mesoamerican or something.
yeah. So, well, there you go.
Yeah.
I guess they hate Mesoamericans more than black people.
Mm. Good, 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 good stroke of luck there for Smokey, I guess. Yeah.
Smokey's
Uh,
got to have a. Oh yeah, Smokey from his hometown of Georgia. What's up?
apparently, yeah.
What the fuck? Araki doesn't know America.
Nah.
He doesn't. He
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh well. Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, we go into as the Nazis with their UV backpack rays take on the vampire army. Joseph and Cars have a quick little skirmish, and it's a pretty cool fight, but it's also sandwiched between two better fights. You feel that way?
Wait, which one?
Joseph versus Cars when they're on the
Oh,
I
on
don't know,
yeah,
scaffolding,
whatever the
and
fuck that is.
like he's
Yeah,
holding
that
on
that was
to
cool
Lisa.
because we he does the thing with the rope. It's a very
Mm,
similar thing to the thing he did against ACDC, where he had ACDC cut just the rope in front of him, but um it was tied in such a way that that section was separate, and he did the same thing
mm,
here, where
mm.
it was basically just two ropes, and he let Wham not Wham Cars, I keep mixing
Cars.
all of them up. He let Cars cut the rope that he didn't need to trick him
Mm,
and get him with the rope. Pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I just
It's
like the way that Jojo uses kind of ordinary everyday objects to fight.
yeah,
Whereas Jonathan, he was more of a straightforward fighter.
yeah. I like that he keeps it up in part three as well. He's very adept at using
I'm excited to see.
regular item. He doesn't fight that much, but the times he does fight are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, that Cars falls onto the crystal spikes below, and it looks like the day is going to be saved. And that's when we learn the backstory of Lisa Lisa. Speedwagon tells it to Smokey why she hid away from the Joestar family and stuff. What'd you think of her backstory?
Uh, I I liked it. I kind of I isn't there like there's like a novel about it, and I want to read it.
Nah,
Oh, what do you mean no?
there's not a novel about her
Well,
backstory.
it's not about her backstory, but it's a novel like called George Joestar
Oh yeah,
that
that is. I
is
don't even know what the fuck is up with
I
that
think
novel
it's like an
because like
alternate some something.
it's it's something I don't know.
It says the main
We should
characters are Kiryu Shikage, Giorno, Lisa Lisa, and George Joestar.
Yeah, as we go, you'll understand that that makes no sense. It's a
Yeah,
weird like
yeah, it's weird.
AU thing. I don't even know.
I do
But
kind of want to read it when I get that, when these characters have been introduced to me. I guess
yeah, we
after
should
part
read
5.
the after yeah. Well, I think there's also even some part 7 characters mixed in there somehow. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, we could read the novels eventually. We could read Golden Heart, Golden Ring, Purple Haze Feedback,
That could be
Dio
interesting.
Over Heaven, the George Joestar. We could also read the spin-offs about Rohan Kishibe after part 4. That could be
Oh yeah,
cool.
there's like a an OVA about that too.
There's a few, yeah. They're just coming out to Netflix soon.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Uh, as for me, I think the backstory of Elisa Lisa feels kind of too coincidental in that, like, tying it into Dio with one of his zombies being the cause is like
Yeah,
Araki's trying to tie everything together, and it ends up feeling a bit contrived. You know?
maybe if we knew about this zombie before, like if we got like a panel in part 1 of like this zombie escaping or something,
Yeah.
that would have been fine, but
Or
it
maybe
does seem really coincidental here.
yeah. At the very least, I like how it shows that like just how he got his trickery from Lisa Lisa, he also got his temper from her too. The
Yeah, she
way
just
she way she flies off the handle in a way that really fucks everything up for her very reminiscent of Joseph.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But then as things seem to be wrapping up, and Cars is about to be shot dead by some UV rays, bam, he has the mask and the stone. Somehow, I don't know where he was keeping either of those things.
Well, I don't know where he was keeping the mask, but obviously he took the stone from Lisa Lisa just a minute ago, so
Yeah,
he had it on him.
maybe he had the mask in his loincloth or in his
Possibly.
giant hair.
Well, actually, he probably just was hiding it inside of his body, now that I think about it, because he could just do that.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
He doesn't
he
need
doesn't need
pockets.
pockets.
Yeah.
He's covered in natural pockets.
Yeah. He could just put anything anywhere. Hell, he
oh,
could,
oh damn.
yeah,
He could
actually.
he could shove it up his butt.
Yeah, he could.
Oh yeah. But yeah, the transformation to Ultimate Cars is pretty spectacular, especially in the anime. Goes
Yeah, this
crazy.
is this is the part where it just gets really weird and I just like stop caring.
Hmm.
It's cool in the anime, with like the theme song playing and everything. Like at least that like the part at the end where he finally beats him.
Right.
But I mean like where he transforms into this ultimate being and starts fucking flying around and like they're in an airplane and shit and I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's a wild time, and it starts by him turning his hand into a squirrel. How about
What the
that, huh?
fuck, man?
He turns his hand into a squirrel and seduces a lady squirrel, and then it murders that squirrel. and then it murders some Nazis too.
Yeah, I like that's another one of those moments where I just like exclaimed out loud. He just turned his hand into a fucking squirrel.
Nice. And then the sun rises somehow because Joseph arrived to fight Wham at midnight. They said show up at midnight with the stone. So how is the sun rising now? They didn't like take a break.
Um uh
It's the Switzerland sun.
uh
It's the sun that happens over only Switzerland.
well, I guess they are in the mountains, so technically they would be a little bit elevated, so I guess day would be a little bit more, but I don't know. It not even like remotely making a difference.
Yeah. That all the stuff that happened, I'd give it an hour tops of like time that it took to happen.
Yeah, because like if you think about it, the they went around one lap in a minute and they did like two laps and I guess a little bit of standing around during that fight. So that top 5 minutes tops for that one fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, the Cars versus Lisa was quick. Joseph versus Cars was quick. And now the sun's rising. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't get it. I just okay.
It's just because Iraqi wanted to prove a point that he's conquered the sun. You know?
Yes. That must have been it. What if he
Oh
conquered
well.
the sun so hard that he moved the sun?
That would be fun.
Just
Yeah,
so he could prove the point.
it's like that one episode of Ed, Ed and Eddie, when they're like effing with the animation and they
Yes.
pull out the sun from the sky and eat it.
Yeah.
That would be a cooler power than harpy cars. Although
Probably.
I do love harpy ultimate cars with the giant wings.
Yeah, it was pretty cool that he had all these like crazy animal powers. It just I think it would have been cooler if it lasted longer and we got to see more of it.
Yeah. Although
Because like he has like so much potential in this form.
yeah. Although like with that infinite potential becomes this sort of like, like how long can we keep this going for? Because if you keep it going too
It
long, then he
becomes
starts to
even more
feel
unrealistic somehow.
yeah. He seems less and less invincible with how much Joseph was able to get away. So the fact that it only lasts a few chapters, I guess, like it's short, but like you can't take this for too long, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, from the start of their fight, I like that. The first and last major fights in part two have Smokey running alongside Joseph, even though he doesn't have to.
That's when he fucking ran again.
Yeah,
That
he
was
busts out the
so good.
Joestar secret technique again. We're getting the fuck out of here. It's
That
pretty
w-
great.
that one they keep catching me by surprise. It's so good.
I love the Joestar ultimate technique.
He's just like,
Uh,
we're gonna have to use
you
the last bit of our energy.
you have to do it to your last breath. This is the final gambit, people. Okay, but what is it?
We're getting the fuck out of here.
Run for your lives! It's pretty
Oh.
great. So he's like, "Fuck! I knew you were gonna do that."
I love that this translation just like uses the word fuck a lot.
Yeah, it really ramped up the fucks.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit older translation, like I
I'm
said.
I mean I haven't read any of the other translations, but I'm 90% that there's not nearly as many fucks.
Nah.
It just fits
Uh,
so well though,
yeah, it
because
fits Joseph.
Joseph is the kind of person who would just say fuck all the time.
Yeah, honestly. Um. Oh yeah, I like the big info spread about Ultimate Cars, especially sex colon useless.
Well, now I get my answer about how they reproduce.
Yeah.
They don't want to reproduce. That's what happens. And also
Sex colon. Yes, please. Ha 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 ha
and
ha
also they
ha.
killed all the women anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Then again, they can like really fuck their bodies up a lot, so maybe
They could
they're
they could
hermaphroditic.
they could gender bend themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
that's
don't need
possible.
women. I have ACDC. Wait, what?
Oh God.
Sir, can we talk about this?
I can just imagine. They're like, whose turn is it this week?
Yeah. Cars, do I have to be the bottom again? Yes. Well, we're looking for the red stone. I need.
We all know it would be Santana though.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't even. They consider him like wholly useless. They probably don't even want to
Yeah,
fuck him.
he's like their like dog or something.
Yeah, he's like their sloppy seconds.
Yeah, yeah. He's like
Jeez.
when they just have no other choice, they just need
Yeah.
to bust a nut.
Uh, yeah. Ah, fuck.
They're having a
ACDC
tough
and Wham
day.
are ACDC and Wham are off in America. All right, big guy, come over here. Yes, sir. Jeez.
This what the
I'm
fuck?
sure there's a fanfic out there with this exact
Probably.
scenario. Yeah. Anyway, Ultimate Cars is born. Look at him go. Ignore what we said and look at him fly up after Joseph in a Nazi plane. Whoa.
Um,
I
how
like
the fuck does Joseph know how to fly a plane when we've
apparent
specifically learned in the past that he actually doesn't because he just made a guy crash the plane and yeah.
apparently he wanted to in his like character profile, apparently his goal is to be a pilot like his dad. So
Oh,
but that's like the only sort of evidence we have that he could fly a plane like this. But this
interesting.
whole fight is full of like moments where you have to go like, yeah, fuck it, this can happen.
Yeah, I mean, what else the fuck are you gonna do against the perfect being?
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, well, apparently kill it with magma, and it's a sound idea actually, and it
Yeah,
like
I figured that that would be the route this was gonna go because like, how the fuck else are you gonna kill this guy?
it's a good idea, and it like if not for Kars's quick thinking, it would have actually worked.
Cars
Uh,
is apparently a science genius.
well,
Well,
yeah,
he does have an
they
IQ
say
of 400.
they say like he is a genius, and like the quick backstory gets in a
Yeah.
bit.
Well,
Uh,
when he gains his when we get his perfect form character profile, it says he has an IQ of 400.
oh
Probably because
really?
he's evolved. Yes, it
Dang,
does. It literally says 400 IQ.
and nice.
Too bad it's
His
only 1%
galaxy
of
brain.
mine.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, how does Joseph? How the fuck does he hit cars with his plane? Because like his plane, there's an explosion and it loses the propeller.
I
He throws the he throws the dummy out with the parachute. Cars flies up to it, and then suddenly the plane is behind Cars and crashing into him.
I can't keep track of this at all. I don't know.
There's
I
no like indicator that he did like a flip or a turn, and I don't know how he would have because he had lost the propeller by then.
what happened in the anime?
That it's not any clearer in the anime.
That's well then. Okay.
I know, right?
Also, apparently Stroheim was there the whole time.
That I'm a bit more fine with because we saw he was on the ground when Joseph was flying by, and then the next shot that showed the ground, he was gone. So that I'm a bit more okay with.
I I mean, I guess compared to like how wacky everything is at this point, how much everything doesn't make sense. I guess that
Yeah, who
has
cares?
a more solid I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
He saves Joseph with fucking Looney Tunes physics. They jump out of the plane and he catches him, and they
Yeah.
crash. And all he does is lose his robo legs
Where the fuck does all that kinetic energy go?
into his legs, apparently.
Apparently.
Oh well. But yeah, Cars. It looks like he's gonna die, so they get ready to go. But then Joseph straight up loses his arm.
Yeah, that I did not expect.
It's a
Bec-
very to have this like near invincible protagonist losing his arm. It's a pretty good indicator that shit has become fucked beyond
yes.
belief.
Because up to this point, like, he's been able to maim and injure the fucking Pillarmen like so much, but he's seemed invincible up to this point. He's managed to make it out of everything basically
Hmm.
unscathed.
Yeah, it's pretty harrowing.
And it was also surprising to me because obviously I've seen what he looks like in part 3, and like uh he has some sort of arm.
Hmm. Yeah, you see later in the last chapter that he's got a
A
robo
prosthetic
arm from the
robo arm,
Nazis.
yeah.
He's got them
I
clickety
just
fingers.
yeah, yeah, I just didn't know that. So I was like, what? And
Yeah,
then I was like, I guess they reattach it later, and then the fucking arm goes into space or whatever. I don't even know.
yeah, it's like that one episode of Futurama. Uh, Do you remember that one where Fry and Leela both lose their arms and they float off and the arms
Yes,
float off into space holding hands?
yes.
That'd be funny if that arm was like stuck on Kara's when he floated off into space.
I mean, that might have been what happened. We don't see what happens to it, but who
No, I
knows?
mean like attached to him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh well, if it was attached to him,
Nah, it
that
wasn't.
would be cool. Just like this floating statue in space, and he has an
It's
arm
got an
attached to
arm.
his throat.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's quick, but we get some background on the Pillarmen too, and it's enough to know that Kars is the last one alive. You know.
Yeah, they're done. Dunzo.
Yeah.
Assuming that the Nazis actually did dispose of Santana,
Hmm.
but I
Well,
guess it doesn't matter
he,
because
yeah,
they never
he's in
come
the
back.
yeah. The use of the redstone here makes its status as just a MacGuffin easier to accept because it actually pulls off what it wants, like what the legend says it's going to do, and helps defeat the final Pillar
Yeah,
Man.
it kind of it. I don't know how that happens, but okay.
It's a hormone amplifier. We've seen it do like
No, I know. No,
shoot
what
off
I mean,
lasers.
how does it move on its own? Like attract?
It's
How is it attracted to the hormone?
I don't know.
Like
Joseph
it
moved
makes
it by
sense how it
itself.
amplifies the hormone. That makes sense to me.
Well, it didn't move by itself, but Joseph could feel it like like
Well,
trying to
he said something like it tried to move on its own or something like that.
something like that.
Something
I
to
don't
that
know.
effect.
Yeah, that's how launched off towards the stratosphere, and Kars gets thrown into space, and when he tries to use air jets to go back, he turns into a statue, half animal, half mineral, and floats through space for eternity until he
It's
eventually
because
stops thinking.
he is primitive man. He don't know about space.
That's true.
He don't know how space work.
Yes. A lot of people seem to think this implies that
He's
since he
gonna come
didn't
back.
die, yeah, but like Araki like states in an interview like no, he's not coming back. The ending was supposed to signify that he's never coming back.
It says he stopped thinking, so that means
Yeah.
he's officially dead.
Uh, yeah,
He became inorganic matter.
somehow.
Yeah, that was weird, but whatever.
Yeah. And apparently Joseph dies, but then a chapter later, oh, he's not dead. And it's kind of funny that he interrupts his own funeral.
That was hilarious.
That's a very Joseph.
He's just like he has no idea too because
Yeah,
fucking Susie Q she she forgot to send the telegram.
yeah. I like how like the ending feels like it's going a bit fast. Maybe Araki was just eager to get to part three, but like he at least knows that it's being rushed enough to make a joke about it because like Joseph's just dropping all this info, like, yeah, don't you guys know? And then he drops the info that he married Susie Q, and he's like, yeah, don't you know? She sent the telegram, and they're like, no. And he's like, you sent the telegram, right? And she's just like, oh, the telegram.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a cute interaction. It's
The
cute
only
seeing them together.
the only thing is like did, would Lisa just not talk to Susie Q at all during that entire period of time? Would it, however long that was? She
Yes.
didn't go back to Venice at all. She just stayed in New York the whole time. She didn't even talk to Susie Q at all.
I guess so. She was healing up. She got half murdered.
Not even a
I
phone
guess
call. Like,
they don't have phones. She
I,
had to send a telegram.
uh,
I don't know, but yeah, that's and we end part two with a flash forward to see old Joseph, and he looks in both the anime and the manga. He looks really different from how he'll look in a few chapters in part three proper.
yeah.
Somehow,
This doesn't this kind of like leads directly into part three, right?
yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. So
That's pretty much it.
that's Battle
Wow.
Tendency. What did you think of Battle Tendency?
Um, the fights were a lot better. I really liked
Hmm.
the fights. Like, mainly just because of like the tactics that that Joseph employs, as opposed to Jonathan, who's just very straightforward.
Hmm.
Um,
What'd you
like I
think of
said,
Joseph as a main character?
I like Joseph. I think I like Joseph more than Jonathan. He was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like his tactics. I like that he's just not he's not just like a good guy. Like he has his own
Flaws.
his own flaws or his own goals beyond just saving the world, I guess, or
Hmm.
just being a good guy. He's more of he seems more human to me than Jonathan did. Jonathan just kind of seemed like
An ideal. A
just an
hero.
yeah, he's just a hero.
You are the hero guy.
Yeah. Um I like I said I liked Lisa. She was probably my favorite character. I just like was super disappointed that she just got fucking shortchanged.
Hmm.
Very unfortunate in my opinion. And obviously I talked about how Caesar was also kind of disappointing in that he was kind of built up as this like important like main character kind of and just he also got shortchanged.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It
feel like part one was a lot more like about the relationship between Jojo and Dio, and part two was a lot more about just Joseph.
yeah. That's a very fair assessment, and it's one of the reasons why part two doesn't hit the notes that I want to, and why I much prefer something like part five, which is very much an ensemble cast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And after reading this, I think my own personal assessment about how the writing of part two went is pretty like I'm pretty sure of myself that I think part two was the last one planned of the first three parts, because I've read interviews like where Rocky talks about like he didn't want to jump from Phantom Blood Dio right into Stardust Crusaders and Dio right away again, so he came up with the story of the Stone Mask's creators, and like part two compared to part one and part three, the consequences of what happened in part two are not very long reaching. All that really matters from part two into part three is knowing the history of Joseph, which we don't really need. You could read part three and you don't need to know about anything that happened in part two, really.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. I I want to talk more about like the what I think the writing for the section of the story as a whole, like what went on with it, my thoughts on what could have happened in part three. But
It's gonna be
we're
a
not
while.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going into part three right away. We're gonna be, since JoJo's pretty evenly divided into parts. We're gonna be taking
And
it
it's also pretty
slow, and
long.
yeah, it's also pretty long. We're gonna be taking it kind of slow, and we're gonna go on to a different series for now before, and we're gonna do all of that series before getting into Stardust Crusaders. Yeah, what series are we starting next episode?
Oh,
Tell us, Dylan.
we're gonna be reading the manga series The Seven Deadly Sins.
That's
It's
correct.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ended like last year.
Yeah, it did end last year. We both have a little bit of experience with it. We've both seen season one, and Mike has
I've
seen season
seen.
two all the way through, right?
Yes, that's
I've
correct.
I've seen season two like halfway through.
I
So,
know a couple things about beyond that, but for the most part, I don't really know much.
yeah. Um, I the thing about it is like I kind of just lost interest like in season two, beyond like the first saga. Like I don't know, it just kind of got a little bit it kind of escalated beyond like the scope that I'm more interested in.
Hmm.
Um Kind of similar to JoJo in a way. So it'll be interesting to kind of look at that. But the next episode we're going to be talking about the first couple arcs actually. The first 26 chapters of the manga, which covers
Yes.
the introduction arc, the arc that introduces Diane, the arc that introduces Bon, and the arc that introduces King.
Yes.
Um, so that will be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait
I'm
to see that.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're also going to be talking a little bit about the anime and manga differences since,
Yeah.
we've both seen the
There's
anime
a
for
lot of
part
them.
for this first season.
Yeah. There's a
Um,
lot of them.
I've seen season 1 like 3 times because I was
Jeez.
really into it for a while before season 2 ever even came out. I was really into Seven Deadly Sins, and then obviously during season 2 I just kind of lost interest. So, it's gonna be interesting to see how the manga differs from the anime.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
and
it'll be a fun time.
yeah, and with that, here's all the links on the screen. Um, and I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you then. So long.